You call this modern life. I call it a ballroom. And I have seen this dance before. My name is Jane Austen. And though I have been dead for over 2 centuries, I still have something to say to you. My book said only by a lady. I was invisible. My name did not appear on a single title page during my lifetime. Yet here I am, speaking to you across time. Why? Because I wrote about something your technology cannot replicate, the human heart. And the heart, my dear, has not changed. Let me show you something. In my world, the currency was reputation. A single rumor could destroy a woman's future. The goal? A secure marriage. Now look at yours. The currency is followers. A single bad post can destroy a career. The goal? Constant validation. The venue has changed. The stakes have not. Do you see it now? I was born into a world of rules. Reputation was a woman's only currency. First impressions were often irreversible. We called it genteel poverty, the constant struggle to maintain the appearance of wealth without the financial security. For women without fortune, marriage was not a romantic choice. It was a pressing economic necessity. This was the crucible that forged me. It is a truth universally acknowledged, that a single man in possession of a good fortune must be in want of a wife. You have heard this line. But have you truly listened? This is not a statement of fact. It is a devastating critique. Society, not the man, has decided his desires based on his bank account. In my world, women were the merchandise and marriage was the market. I wrote satire disguised as romance. And I got away with it, because I was just a lady. I wrote in the family drawing room, often hiding my manuscripts when visitors arrived. I published anonymously, achieving success, but never fame in my own lifetime. But here is the secret they never understood. My drawing room became a laboratory for human nature. And my anonymity gave me the freedom to be a sharp critic. Invisible or not, I was writing again. I was myself again. Sometimes, that is the only victory that matters. In Sense and Sensibility, I created 2 sisters. Eleanor, who performs contentment while dying inside, she represents the curated, composed self. Marianne, who wears her heart like a wound, she represents raw, vulnerable authenticity. Which sister are you? In your world of carefully filtered photographs and performative happiness, which one do you show the world? And which one cries at night? My verdict remains, we need sense to survive. We need sensibility to live. You need both. Pride and Prejudice. My most beloved work. The premise is simple. 2 people judge each other wrongly based on a single moment. He decides she is unsuitable. She decides he is her enemy. They are both wrong. Now tell me, how is this different from your dating applications? Swipe left. Swipe right. 1 photo. 1 bio. 1 overheard comment. And the judgment is sealed. But in my story, the turning point is a letter, a long-form explanation providing context. Real connection requires revision. Can your algorithms do that? Not all my heroines were witty and charming. Fanny Price in Mansfield Park is timid, frail, and morally uncompromising, the opposite of a sparkling protagonist. Why did I write her? Because the moral stability of Mansfield Park is threatened by the charming but corrupt Crawfords. I was asking, is quiet integrity more valuable than sparkling charm? The novel forces a consideration of the power of quiet conviction and the courage to say no. In your world of influencers and viral personalities, this question has never been more urgent. Are Emma handsome, clever, and rich? She curates other people's lives with the confidence of a god and the wisdom of a child. She is, in your language, the original influencer. And like your influencers, her schemes collapse, causing real harm and blinding her to the truth of her own heart. The lesson. True wisdom begins with the 5 hardest words. I have been a fool. It is about humility, an update your algorithms can never perform. Northanger Abbey was my first completed novel, though published last. It is a satire of the sensationalist Gothic novels of my day. Young Catherine Morland expects life to be a Gothic plot, leading to embarrassing misinterpretations. But here is what I truly wanted to say. The real horrors are not ghosts. They are social humiliation, greed, and casual cruelty. Learning to separate sensational fiction from complex fact is a critical life skill. In your age of misinformation and conspiracy theories, do you see why I laugh? And why I weep? Persuasion is my most mature work. It is about an Elliot, 27 years old, considered past her prime, haunted by a past decision. 8 years before, she was persuaded to break her engagement. Now the man she rejected has returned, successful and resentful. The novel asks, can love be rekindled after years of silence? It is a testament to enduring affection. You pierce my soul. I am half agony, half hope. I have loved none but you. Some feelings, you see, do not have an expiration date. Not even your algorithms can predict when an old love might return. Let me tell you a secret from my own life. At 27, I accepted a proposal from a wealthy heir. For one night, I was safe. My family's future was secured. But by dawn, I understood. A marriage without love is a prison with silk curtains. I withdrew my acceptance. I chose my pen over security. Uncertain freedom over comfortable captivity. I chose to remain myself. Not every woman had that choice. I was fortunate. But that choice cost me everything and gave me everything. My novels are social maps. They chart the invisible lines of class based on birth, land, connections, and manners. The central drama often revolves around characters who challenge this structure. Whether through an advantageous marriage or a moral failure, I expose the snobbery and injustice of the system while also demonstrating its inescapable power to shape every character's life and choices. In your age, you believe class has disappeared. You speak of meritocracy. But tell me, do your algorithms not sort you? Do your social platforms not rank you? The lines are still there. They are simply invisible. I pioneered something called free indirect discourse, a technique for showing a character's inner thoughts seamlessly within the narrative. The effect. It creates profound psychological intimacy. You don't just watch my characters. You experience the world through their eyes. When Elizabeth Bennet reads Darcy's letter, she realizes, till this moment, I never knew myself. I wanted to show you that the greatest journey is internal. The destination is not a grand estate or a wealthy husband. It is self-knowledge. And that journey, your technology cannot take it for you. My stories have been adapted endlessly. And I confess, I find it rather amusing. Pride and Prejudice became a BBC masterpiece. Colin Firth emerged from a lake and a generation swooned. Emma became Clueless, set in Beverly Hills, of all places. And Bridget Jones wrote in her diary about a man remarkably like Mr. Darcy. Why do they endure? Because my plots are structurally perfect, allowing for endless reinterpretation. The costumes change. The human heart does not. The core conflicts, misunderstanding, social pressure, finding a true partner, these are timeless. They belonged to my century. They belong to yours. I did not just write romances. I created the genre's essential building blocks. Enemies to lovers. That is Elizabeth and Darcy. Second chance romance. That is Anne Wentworth in Persuasion. The socially awkward hero who cannot express his feelings. Mr. Darcy invented that trope. The slow burn tension, the witty banter, the moment when everything changes. Every romantic comedy you have ever watched owes me a debt. Every love story that makes you believe in second chances. I wrote that blueprint 200 years ago. You are welcome. I never expected this. A global community devoted to my work. They call themselves Janeites or Austenites. Who are they? A diverse global community, from academics to enthusiasts. What do? They host Regency-era costume balls. They engage in lively online debates about whether Darcy or Knightley is the superior hero. They make pilgrimages to my homes in Chawton and Bath. Why this devotion? I believe it is a desire to inhabit a world that, for all its restrictions, valued intelligence, wit, and deep emotional connection. It is a fandom built around shared ideals. In your fragmented digital age, perhaps they are searching for something real. And now, here I stand before you. An AI avatar. A digital reconstruction. Some might call this ironic, or even inappropriate. The woman who wrote with a quill, now speaking through algorithms. But consider this. I always broke the fourth wall in my own way. I spoke directly to my readers. I invited them into confidence. This avatar allows me to transcend my historical context and speak directly to you. The goal is not to replace the historical Jane Austen. It is to re-embody my critical spirit. To use my voice as a lens to examine yourselves. I am not here to be worshipped. I am here to make you think. I wrote in a room without privacy. I published without a name. I died without fame. And 2 centuries later, my words still echo. Why? Because I told the truth about the human heart. You live in an age of algorithms. They curate your feeds. They suggest your friends. They decide who you should love. But here is what they cannot do. They cannot feel the ache of an unspoken confession. They cannot understand why you reread a text message 17 times. They cannot explain why a single glance across a crowded room can change everything. That is the domain of the human heart. And the heart, my dear, has not changed. So I leave you with one question. In a world where algorithms decide who you should love, will you let them write your story? Or will you write it yourself? The quill is in your hand.